This video is brought to you by Factory Direct Trains. Visit factorydirecttrains.com and check out their wide selection of model railroading products and supplies. Hey everybody, it's Jimmy from the DIY and Digital, and today I'm showing you the track plan for the new DIY and Digital Railroad. Welcome back everybody. First of all, if you haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button so that you are eligible for the 5,000 subscriber contest sponsored by Factory Direct Trains. I'm giving away an N-scale Broadway Limited T1 with DCC and Paragon 3 sound, and an HO scale DCC ready GE-9 from Athearn in the Union Pacific Chicago Northwestern paint scheme. And you have to be a subscriber to be eligible to win those. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any updates, including when I do that 5,000 subscriber contest. Now, if you've already subscribed and you want to enter the contest, I'll put a link in how to do that in the description below. Okay, so today we're going over my new track plan, and we're going to take a virtual tour of the new DIY and Digital Railroad. But first, I want to give you guys a little peek into the mindset I had and the requirements that I had for my new layout. So let's go over the things that I wanted in the layout. The first thing that I want in this railroad is a designated town area. Now, this doesn't have to be a full-size town, it just needs to be a little area that represents where the train is running through, plus the town that all of the industries are in. Speaking of industries, I want at least 3 industries, and I want one of these industries to be a large industry. And what I mean by large industry is at least 2 dedicated sidings. Now, in addition to these 3 industries, I also want a team track. Now, a team track is a siding that is shared by multiple railroad clients. When each one of them does not justify a siding individually, they share the siding for railroad drop-offs and pickups. Now, for all this, I do want some sort of runaround track that I can use to do some easier switching with the industries. Now, that's it for what I want out of the industries. I also want a big scenic portion of the layout where I can just purely rail fan my railroad. No, nothing but trees and scenery and just all sorts of cool things in that. So a pure scenic portion of the layout as well. Now, I also want the ability to expand the railroad in the future and hook up some temporary staging. I'm not going to be able to have a permanent staging yard, but I want to have some way to hook up staging so that I can do some realistic operations. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Here is the track plan for the DIY and Digital Railroad 2.0. It is an L shape and it roughly takes up 80 inches by 80 inches. So let's dive right into this. So this section of the L is really going to be the scenic section that I had talked about. I'm going to have a mountain scene with trees and all sorts of different things here. And the train's going to be entering and exiting through this area. Next, the train's going to come into the main switching area of the layout, and you'll notice that it has a double track main. That's part of the L-shaped dog bone that is the overall layout track plan for this. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to be in the circle around to go through the town, and we're going to be passing the largest industry, which has 2 sidings on it. Now, this is going to be one big feature that I've actually never done before. I'm doing a roadway bridge over the railroad line right here coming into the town. And the train will come back through the main, head back into the double track main as it's passing through the town area. The train passes the switching area. Notice I don't have any sort of turnout that lets it get back to the switching area. That's so that I don't have any electrical problems. The train then heads back out of town, and this little siding right here actually represents where the train will be able to go to staging or any sort of future expansions. So here is the main switching area for the layout, and you'll notice that I have a loop going around here. That is what is doubling as my runaround track. I don't have room for a traditional runaround track as you would think about, but I'm going to use this loop as a runaround track and a way to reverse trains. Now you can see that I have one siding that is directly off the main before you go into the switching area itself. And when you come around the first turn of the switching area, it does have the siding that goes to the double siding of the large industry. And then we're going to go into the area with a siding for the industry and another siding for the team track that I had talked about. So those are all of the sidings for the little switching area on my layout. And then the train can exit right back out onto the main because of the loop. Now, I had done probably 20 or 30 different designs and didn't come up with anything that I really liked. And then I finally came up with this one with a few compromises in it, but overall, I really love it. It is going to have some potential problems that I can foresee. The big problem with switching is going to be that the runaround track really involves the main line, and any sort of local switching operation is going to have to yield authority to the main line, manifest freights, intermodals, everything that's going through on the main line. The next thing that I see as a big problem is the 2 S-turns that I have in the layout. They're going to have to be reduced speed zones, but that also plays into operations because there are reduced speed zones on real railroads where the turns can be a little tight or can be a little awkward and you can't go too fast. The next thing that I see is that the industries are going to have different directions on the siding, which means we're going to have to do some runaround moves so that we can do the switching properly of all the sidings. That is technically a problem, but I also see a way as adding time and things you have to do for the industry. I really think that model railroad operations is almost kind of like a very complex brain teaser. So adding more complications into it actually makes it more fun. And then the last thing that I see, which is really something that I had to heavily compromise on, is that the route to the potential staging area is only one direction, and I'm probably at some point going to have to back trains into it, which I don't love, but there was no other way to really do it and be able to get everything else that I wanted. So I'm going to have to figure out some other things in the future, but that is the biggest compromise on my layout. So that is my track plan for the DIY and Digital Railroad 2.0. I hope you guys liked it. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Go ahead and leave those down there. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any updates, including following along as I build this railroad. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Happy railroading!